Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Ridwanullah family. Welcome back to another episode of Ridwanullah TV show. I'm your host and maximizer, Hussein Mohamud, working to help our ummah and world completely maximize their lives in this dunya and in the akhirah by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Verily, all praise and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, owner, and sustainer. And may the peace and our creator, owner, and sustainer, the one who's worthy of worship without any associations. And may the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon the most esteemed leader and most honorable teacher, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his family, his companions, and those who follow him until the day of judgment. Allahumma ameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. New mic, new studio, as you guys heard from the last episode. So I'm not going to go over those details again, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. But I'm really excited about what I have on this particular solo episode. On this episode, I should say, of Ridwanullah TV show. And it is gaining momentum, getting in your zone, in progress, and more. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So that's what we're going to be talking about once again: gaining momentum, getting in your zone, and progress. It's a very hard thing to do, and a lot of people are not even aware of whether they have momentum or not. So hopefully, this will be at the very least a self-awareness episode where you start to gain a little bit of consciousness about those particular topics in your life, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. But before we get into the show, I want to shout out to one of my to our sponsors for today, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, to kind of encourage more sponsors. Ridwanullah organization is self-sponsoring this Ridwanullah TV show. So I want to tell you a little bit about Ridwanullah organization, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, a shameless plug. So give me a second, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So Ridwanullah organization, in all seriousness, is an organization that is primarily an Islamic and primarily an information-based Islamic personal and professional development business and organization that is working to help our ummah completely maximize our ummah and world completely maximize their lives in this dunya and in the akhirah by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Currently, they're offering Ridwanullah TV show and vlogs and other types of media across the different platforms, with a website on the way, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So keep your eyes a little bit peeled for that. It's just a visionary organization that's starting online primarily, and obviously doing a lot of work offline as well, but primarily focused on the online world, where we're hoping to create some online educational platforms. The two main ones that are coming up is about the Ridwanullah organization, where it's primarily helping individuals completely maximize, helping our ummah and world, helping our ummah completely maximize their lives, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And the other one that's coming up is maximized halal business, teaching entrepreneurs and potential investors, teaching entrepreneurs how to start, run, and grow their online and or offline businesses and or investments, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So and there's a lot of in-between stuff that is done, but that's for the future, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, as well. So I wanted to give that quick shout out to Ridwanullah organization for sponsoring this Ridwanullah TV show, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, to encourage more sponsors to send their request to Ridwanullah organization at gmail.com, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So if you want to be a sponsor of this show, please, if you just want to be a general sponsor, contribute through our Patreon account. If you want to be just a general brand sponsor, send your request to the email. Or if you have a specific product and or service or information that you want to market and sell, send the details of that to the email as well. What your budget is, whether it's a brand sponsorship or offer sponsorship, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and how long you're looking to do this, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, whether it's a one-time shot, a quarter, a year, to that capacity, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Make sure that you send your request to Ridwanullah organization at gmail.com for now, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Jazakumullahu khair. So that's where I'll pause on the sponsorship. Thank you. Jazakumullahu khair. Jazakumullahu khair. Jazakumullahu khair to Ridwanullah organization. Really appreciate it. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Now we're going to get into the show, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Gaining momentum and getting in your zone and finding progress and more. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala in this episode. So, I don't even know how to kind of like go about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do I do? How do I do it? How do I say it? How do I interact with you guys? Am I getting better? Am I getting worse? Do I continue? IDK? I'll figure it out. I'm not going to say IDC, but because I really, really care. But in all seriousness, this is a very, very serious topic. And fun, depending on how you're looking at it. If you're coming from a miserable state, it's more serious than fun. But if you're coming from a fun place, more lively place, it's fun because now you're going to be asking yourself, which areas of my life can I gain momentum in? Can I get in my zone in? And find progress in, right? That's the essence of the question that I want you to ask yourself, that I was asking myself. And I'll tell you a quick story or a long story, depending on how long it takes me to say it or tell it, on how I even came up on this particular topic of gaining momentum and getting in your zone and finding progress and more. It is because as I was planning and preparing for the Ridwanullah TV show and my other content that I'm posting online through, the website, inshallah, and all of the different medium and platforms, I've really, really realized that I didn't really realize in the beginning that it takes a lot of momentum. It takes time to get in your zone. It takes progress to keep pushing and to be able to get more. And I thought, alhamdulillah, I can just come in and just record these episodes because I don't even know how many I'm supposed to be doing at a time, but I try to do 1, 2, or 3 at a time. If I can't do anything, I'll try to do 1 at a time. But hopefully I could learn how to jumble those. But particularly for this week, I had focused to record two particular Ridwanullah TV shows and a couple of other content that I wanted to create. And after Fajr, I came up to the studio area and I was thinking about, the proper location, proper angle, the thumbnail that I rarely do, that I'm going to slowly but surely start doing on a consistent basis, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And I came here and I started thinking about, like, man, what do I talk about? And I went through the singular focus because the industry, the content creation industry, has some best business practices that I haven't been putting into practice until late, and I kind of forgot about it because I haven't done a particular recording for a little bit for a little bit, and I've really realized that just as a side note, it's best to produce on a weekly basis. And have multiple things going on, and depending on what's coming up, you could plan and prepare accordingly. Like, let's say, for example, you have a project that's going to take a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever. You plan and prepare accordingly as you go. and jumble those things together. So I didn't even know how many shows that I need to put together. But I did realize that I needed to, start doing, at least 2 and kind of go from there, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And it was just hard. Like, I didn't know, like, my brain and my mind, everything was not really, like, clicking and moving the way that I needed to. And I mean, hindsight is 20/20. Everyone knows that, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. But when you're in it, you don't really know what's going on. And what I've realized is I was having a hard time, and I've spent about 1 hour to 2 hours just kind of planning and preparing what I want to do, what I want to say, how I want to say it, the topics that I want to discuss, what the thumbnail looks like, my 45-week year calendar, some of the things that I have going on in those calendars and what I'm trying to do. I really, really got progress and success on a certain level is like building a house brick by brick. The good thing is once you lay these bricks, you don't have to keep laying them, and that's the beauty about success. It takes time and it takes hard work to lay the foundation and framework and build the rest of it. But I've really, really realized that it takes momentum. You really have to find momentum. You really have to get through that. And looking back, I didn't realize how much energy and effort that I had to put in to be able to get to this level of momentum and finding my zone and getting into my zone and getting into my flow state, as the psychologist said. One of my friends usually reminds me of the flow state. I call it in the zone. He calls it the flow state, which is more proper in psychological terms. But I just didn't know that I had to keep putting in more energy and effort and focus and planning and preparation and creativity and thought and just thinking about what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it and kind of remembering my business and organization's best practices and industry's best practices. And then I kind of came up with it. I'm like, I'm not going to focus on one topic. I'm going to focus on 3 main topics and more and whatever else that comes up around that. So I was like, boom, that makes sense. I really could just work off that, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And I was really, really happy that I stopped focusing on a singular topic. So if you are a content creator, especially long-form content creation, if you're creating short-term content creation, singular focus is okay, is good. But one thing I really found out is for long-form content like a show or a podcast or things like that are usually about an hour long, like this Ridwanullah TV, it's a show as well as video, as well as podcast form and so many other things that you could think about. And I really, gave it some thought to kind of, focus it on a keystone area, which is a show, because a show can, transcend TV, video, podcast, audio, anything else. So a show could, be in a video, it could be on a podcast, it could be on anything else in between around that. So with that being said, I really wanted to gain some momentum. I really thought about it. The point that I was trying to make there is, that I almost forgot, is that when you have long form content, like I'm really focused on, and a lot of people that are focused on and delivering high quality value and use, is that you really have 3 particular points that you want to focus on. Boom, 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 and more. Meaning you could talk about a lot of things in around those 3 main topics. So for example, for me, gaining momentum is one of them. Getting in your zone is another. And finding progress is the 3rd one, and more. Alhamdulillah. So as I go through this episode in the show, all I'm going to be talking about is those 3 things, and then whatever else that spontaneously and creatively comes up at any given moment, then I'll be able to just kind of share that with you in between that. So those are the kind of best practices that I've kind of found out from a lot of the interview shows that I've been watching and listening to. And the reason why I create this long form content is because I consume long form content myself. And the reason why I create short form vlogs is because I benefit from both of them, and different people benefit from different things. And one thing that I've realized is in this educational, informational industries, particularly online and offline, is that that you really have to find value in the duration and details. Like the regular saying, I think maybe it's irregular, but it's kind of catchy to me. I was reading an article a couple of years back, and it really said the devil's in the details. And for me, I don't want to focus on the devil. I'll keep it in mind, but I'll say the value is in the duration and details. That's a mantra that I'm coming up because I'm involved in the online education and information, education, training, and information industry online with the online business and marketing and things like that. And I've really realized that, man, I lost my train of thought. I'll try to regather it. It's really important to stay on top of it. That was kind of my main message. It's, understanding and studying this, your industry, and learning and growing through it. It's the bits and pieces that you learn and grow through that gives you the little bit of momentum. Momentum could be in any area of your life. It doesn't have to be in a particular area. It could be momentum in your deen, momentum in your in a particular area of your deen, momentum in your health and fitness, or a particular area in your health and fitness. And I'm just going to go through the rest of the areas of life. It could be the momentum in your neatness and abundance. Are you clean and organized? Could be momentum in your adventure and fun. Are you traveling? Are you having fun? Are you enjoying different activities and restaurants and cafes and environments and people? Are you gaining momentum in that? Do you need momentum in that? Do you have momentum in that? Is it potentially momentum? And that's the category of yourself. And then we talked about the deen. Are you needing momentum in your learning? Are you needing momentum in your implementation? Are you needing momentum in your teaching and preaching? Are you needing momentum in your patience and enduring with patience? Are you needing momentum in your income, right, with your business and investments? Are you needing momentum in your net worth? Are you needing momentum in your work, whether that's your job, your businesses, and or investments? And that's the category of the business and investments. Are you needing momentum in the category of your family? Are you needing momentum with your spouse and children, or potential spouse and children? Are you needing momentum? Momentum is just getting back on a good note. Things are not stagnant. Communication and everything is flowing. So momentum is kind of flow, and that's why it's relating to the flow state, which is the getting in your zone. Are you needing momentum in that? Are you needing momentum in your family, which is your spouse and or children, or potential spouse and your children? Are you needing momentum with your parents, with your siblings and nieces and nephews? Are you needing momentum with your grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins? Are you needing momentum with your in-laws? And that's the family category. Are you needing momentum with your ummah and world? Are you needing momentum with your masjid and friends? Are you needing momentum with your neighbors and community? Are you needing momentum with your city and state? Are you needing momentum with the country and the world? And that's the ummah and world category. That's all the different categories, honestly, that you can get momentum in, and then the details of them. Are you needing momentums in the duration and the details, as I mentioned earlier? So momentum is really, really important, and honestly, you don't know how good you are in anything in your life unless you start gaining momentum, right? Some people might pick up the Quran and start reading once, and they can't really quite read it, or they can't really quite memorize it, or they can't really quite pronounce it. And they think that they're bad at that. And in reality, in hindsight is 20/20, as I mentioned, All it takes, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, is a little bit of momentum. Just gain a little bit of momentum. Just get in your zone, and I'll be getting into that, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, and just find some momentum. Push. Uh-oh. Kind of thought about the birth of my kids. Oh, my. For the youngsters, y'all don't know nothing about that. And I wish I could say, I hope you don't, but I hope you do, because it's a beautiful thing where they're just talking about push. All right. Let's get back to all seriousness, because the connection ain't real right now. Anybody who has kids knows exactly what I'm talking about. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, push. I should use a different word now. Hustle. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Keep working. Put more energy and effort into, the area of your life that you're thinking about. Actually, pause for a second. Pause. That's some of the people that people from the hood. They talk this in like pause, like put that in perspective and move on to the next one. Pause. Anyway, so you need momentum. What I want you to pause on and think about, the video didn't cut, if anybody was wondering on that one. What I want you to think about is, I think I should just give some dead space. Actually, let me just pause for like 10 seconds. Actually, no. Let me tell you what I want you to think about, and then I'll pause for 10 seconds, and then I'll continue. I'm going to experiment with that. I love discovery and experimentation, so I've discovered that thought, so I'm going to experiment that thought, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, simultaneously, or I should say spontaneously and simultaneously. So, because I could, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I can continue this energy, but I think I need to go through the highs and the lows, like enjoy the roller coaster. Uh-oh. What am I doing right now? I don't even know. Hey, yeah. What are we doing? All right, let's keep it halal. Let's keep it halal. All right. All right, pause, right? So I'm going to experiment with pause. I want you to think about something. This is on a serious note too, so all the joking aside. I like to joke and be serious at the same time, and kind of going in between that, or in balance of that, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So with all seriousness, I want you to think about the areas of your life that you're thinking about particularly working on. And I'm developing Ridwanullah University, which is an online educational platform that helps you on a monthly membership, helps you improve your life. So inshallah, keep an eye out for that. I don't know how soon or late that's going to come out, but that's something I'm working on this year, so just keep in mind, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And if you're interested in that, leave it on the comment below, or send me an email at ridwanullahorganization@gmail.com. Once again, ridwanullahorganization@gmail.com, and you should find that in the description below, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So what I want you to think about is your life. Which area of your life do you want to improve? Do you need to improve? Do you want to improve? I know there's a lot of different areas of your life that you're thinking about. And alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, there's only 5 areas of life in that program that we're going to be talking about in general. So I'm going to mention the 5 areas, and I'm going to pause for about 10-15 seconds, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So the first area of your life is your deen. The second area is your business and investments. The third area is yourself. The fourth area is your family. And the fifth area is our ummah, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So in each of these areas, what do you need and or want? I want you to think about that for a second, because I want you, the challenge that I'm going to come up with, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, is for you to focus on this one particular area and then move forward. So I'm going to let you think about which area, think about all the areas in these 5 categories of life that encompasses life. And bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, come up with one. So I'm going to take a little while, I'm going to pause, and I'm going to think it through myself, and maybe it's more than 10, 15 seconds. And then we're going to come back. I want you to think about that one and leave it on the comment below, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and I'll tell you what mine is. So the pause will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. I really don't know how long that took. A lot longer than I intended or thought it would. So that's the good thing about discovery and exploration. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. As I mentioned, I love discovery and exploration. That's why I love adventure and fun in my life. So I was kind of thinking through the 5 categories of my life, honestly, and I really wanted to give it some serious thought, and I hope that you have as well. And if you really haven't, you know what I mean, you could obviously go back and redo it and give it some serious thought, or even pause it if you need longer than what I've needed. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. And I want to just kind of let you know my thought process, and then let you know what is the one thing that I came up with. And actually, if you just give me a moment, I'm going to write that down. So I've really thought about this. Is actually very, very valuable and useful for me, and I hope that you can see the same thing. So think about your one thing that you're going to improve, that you want to improve on. What is the one thing that you can improve on in your life? Such by improving on it will make everything else easier and or unnecessary. Is the thing that I picked up from the One Thing book by Gary Keller or something like that. Really, really good book on productivity and achievement. So achievement and productivity, I should say, productivity and achievement, whatever floats your boat. Yeah, whatever floats your boat. And I thought about my deen. I really looked at that, and I thought, obviously sometimes I have issues waking up for Fajr. So I thought I could focus on being more consistent in waking up for my Fajr and praying at the masjid. And, just overall gaining closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with istighfar and tawbah. And then I thought about my business, my business, thought about the income, thought about the net worth, thought about the work. And I was like, yeah, I've been improving on that, but that's not really something that appealed to me. It appeals to me, but not, that deep of a level. Then I thought about myself. I'm like, my health and fitness, alhamdulillah, I'm kind of getting back on track with that. I thought about my neatness and abundance, and I'm like, I'm kind of getting back on track with that. I thought about my adventure and fun, and I've always had adventure and fun, especially designated through my retreats, quarterly retreats. And so I'm not really in need of that. So alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, I was good on that. So that completes myself. And then I thought about my family, and I'll get back to the family because this is where my one thing is. I thought about my spouse and children. Alhamdulillah, everything is all good there. I thought about my parents, siblings, nieces, and nephews, and everything is good. Alhamdulillah, obviously there's a lot of room for improvement there. I thought about my grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Same thing, everything is good, but needs a lot of improvement, even more so there as well. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. And I thought about my in-laws. Everything is good and needs a lot of improvement as well within that same token. So that concludes my family, and I really thought about relationships and communication. When things are at its best with life and everything, the communication is at its highest and the relationship is at its highest. So I'll get back to that, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And then I thought about my ummah, which is, masjid and friends. Things are pretty decent there, even though I could put in a lot more energy and effort there. I just don't have that capacity right now because I'm utilizing it in other ways that are more leveraged, I should say. So then I thought about my neighbors and community. Obviously it needs a lot of help, but I need it more than they need it. So to be able to be selflessly selfish, meaning I'm going to keep building myself to be in a situation to keep building, I'm going to keep building my deen, business, and self so I could continue to build my family and ummah, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Because, if I focus on the ummah, then who's building my deen? Who's building my business? Who's building myself? Who's building my family, right? But by focusing on building my deen, my business, my family, myself, my family, and ummah, then, by focusing on the first 3 or 4, I'm simultaneously building my family and ummah, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So the one that, and I thought for a second, that's why I was just pausing, and I guess the joke part, I guess I can share with you right now. I'm like, man, you're just being so strange, just pausing like this. And then that's when I was like, maybe I should think about it like this. And then the thing that came up to me is some of the young, like fun young kids, that's what they do, right? This is what they do it like this. And that's the thing, that's the part that I was kind of like holding in my laughs and giggles. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. So after thinking about that, I really thought it through and I thought it deeply. And the area that I need to gain more momentum, the one area that I could gain momentum in, to connect it back to the topic, gaining momentum and getting in your zone and finding progress and more. The one area that I thought that I could gain momentum in find some get in my zone with is my relationships and communication, honestly. And I really thought about this. And initially it was primarily focused on my family and the different individuals within my family. I've had some friction with one of my close friends, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, and that friction was really bad, honestly, on both ends. And it got to a point where it was tearing us apart, but we got together over the phone, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, and kind of resolved the matter. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that we should resolve our matters between our brothers. And I was so happy that, he was able to get to that point, and I was able to, do it with open arms, and he initiated the contact. So the initiation indicates who's better. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. And we kind of talked through it. And we resolved all of the matters. Obviously, maybe there's like 10% that's potentially lingering. But alhamdulillah, I felt like we got to 100%. You know what I mean? We understood each other. We agreed to disagree. We agreed to have different perspective and just move forward. And by thinking about that, I was talking to one of my friends. I talk about certain situations, but I don't talk about the details or who it is, and I don't do any names. So I was talking to one of my friends. I'm like, yeah, I've had friction with one of my close friends, another friend that I was talking to, and I was telling him I had friction with one of my close friends, but alhamdulillah, we was able to resolve it. And one of the things that he said to me kind of stuck with me, and he said this: it takes two big people to resolve matters. And I was like, subhanallah. And resolving, and this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I think it's Surah Al-Anfal, if I'm not mistaken, the first or second verse, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions to fear Allah and to resolve the matters between your brothers. And I was so happy that I was able to resolve that matter with my brother. But then I thought about the different family members that I have friction with, that I need to resolve matters with. Some of them are bad, some of them are good, some of them are in between. And the bad ones, I really need to figure out a way to get to the heart of the issue and resolve it. And there's multiple ways of. So my one thing is resolving my relationship and contribution. And the more I thought about it, it's not really only with my family, right? Relationships generally break down into three parts. The first one is the creator, the second one is self, and the third one is others. So the creator of the heavens and the earth, that's the ultimate relationship. The creator, the owner, and sustainer of everything that exists, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So figuring out how you could correct your relationship with that, and I don't want to make this a relationship episode, but I talk about relationships quite a bit. Alhamdulillah. I talk about relationships quite a bit, and relationship and communication in particular, and now I'm realizing I really need to focus on my relationship with my creator. And talking about momentum, right? Because you don't know the depth and the details of the different areas that you need to gain momentum in unless you really look at it. So gaining momentum is extremely important. So for me, I've identified relationships and communications with my creator, myself, and others, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And I think that's my number one goal in life. Obviously, in life, and obviously life in general and in different areas. So relationship and communications is extremely important. And I've thought about, all the individuals that I had, really bad relationships and communications with, the individuals that I've had really great relationships and communications with. And the connection between relationship and communication is because you can tell how good the relationship is based on the communication. For the most part. There are exceptions to the rule, but this is the rule. If the communication is great, then the relationship is great. If the communication is bad, then the relationship is bad. These are some really good life lessons that I've learned, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. So one thing that I'm going to do is, instead of focusing on building the relationship by resolving matters, I'm just going to establish communication and keep expanding that communication and resolve matters one by one until it's completely resolved, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. There's probably 5 to 10 individuals that I can think about that I could definitely resolve matters with and continuously improve on. And sometimes it's not really you, it's them that's going through so much pain that they can't really overcome it and forgive and move forward. But sometimes it's you too, right? Where you have so much pain and things like that. So just be patient throughout the process and kind of find the right balance, the right time, and the right situation and the right seasons, and gain momentum and continue to gain momentum and always gain momentum. I don't know where that came from. I felt like I was throwing up right there. That's probably me just trying to have fun and finding some fun in this. All right, I'm gonna stop. Just having too much fun, man. Like honestly, if you're chasing your dreams, your real goals and dreams, not the goals that your parents have for you and the society has for you, your family and friends and the ummah, none of those goals. I'm talking about they can influence you in a positive way, but not dictate you in dogma. What is your genuine goal? So I want you to think about that, and when you're pursuing that, when you're truly pursuing that, you're enjoying your work, and therefore you're enjoying your life. Because if you really think about it, I don't want to get into the details of this too, but like work takes a majority of our lives. So if you can find ways to offer value and make money from that value, then that's all there is to it. That's all there is to business, is creating real and genuine value and figuring out a way to profit from that and to make money and profit from that. So that's why I'm creating, this business, this organization, and figuring out how to slowly but surely build it, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So you really have to gain momentum. So getting to the last two, getting in your, so that's what I wanted to mention about momentum. I hope as I'm actually coaching and consulting myself right now. So hopefully you're benefiting from that, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, that you can continue to do that for yourself as well, bi'idhnillah. I'm hearing some clicking noises, so I'll just continue to act like I ain't hearing that. So yeah, I've identified my number one keystone goal in life. The one area that I'm going to gain momentum in, that's my relationships and communications, primarily focusing on communication first, and then relationships, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So that's what I'm going to end with, the momentum part. And I'm just going to get into the zone. The zone, getting in your zone, psychologically, it's called the flow state. And this is something that you could actually research. So for me, I do a lot of deep research, both in the Quran and the Sunnah, secular knowledge, personal experience and observation, as well as professional experience and observation, and external experience and observation. And one thing I've realized is getting in your flow state and getting in your zone, like the sports people, you know what I mean, or when you throw in a football, and like when they're in their zone. I think the Super Bowl is today. Yeah, today's the Super Bowl. Anyway, I ain't want to let you know the date, but that kind of what it is. You heard me? So today, getting in your flow state. The reason I said I kind of lost track. I don't know if I should watch the Super Bowl or not. Hey, I'm doing my own Super Bowl. Anyway, you should find your zone just like the athletes find their zone. The zone is when you're not thinking too much and you're just acting. Execution. That is when you're in your zone. When you're this is how you know the difference between someone who's in their zone or not. Someone who's in their zone is 99% execution, 1% thought. Maybe I should say 10% thought and 90% execution. The person who's out of their zone is 10% thought, overthinking and overwhelmed, and maybe 10% execution, if not 100% thought. So that's how you know if you're acting and so when you have to gain momentum to get in your zone to make sure that you're just executing, no thinking. Obviously you think, right? Not intelligent thoughts, right? You think and you kind of plan and prepare, but you get to a point where you're just not thinking, and you put your thinking into execution and you act on it. And the thing that I found out about getting in your zone and just staying in your flow state and executing flawlessly, perfectly imperfect, imperfectly perfect. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say, man. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. You know me right by now. You know me by now. So getting into your flow state, execution, less thinking. And I'm not saying you're mindless and doing dumb stuff. You think, you use your heart and soul and mind. But once you've conceptualized within reason, execution, that's where the game is. And once you're executing, you're in your flow state, you're producing results, and you know what I mean, you're enjoying, happily producing results, and you're moving forward in that direction. And one of the major things that I've realized about getting into my flow state, and there's a way that I've kind of come up with a formula on getting into my flow state, is that you don't regret anything, right? As long as you're keeping it within the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Big key. As long as you're keeping it within the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will be regret-free, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And that's one of my regret defense mechanism, is whenever I'm overthinking, I know I'm going to regret it. if I do something that I'm overthinking and I don't feel like doing it and I still do it, in my gut I feel like it's not right and I still do it, that's when I know I'm regretting it. But when I get into my flow state and in my gut everything is green light and I'm executing on the green lights in my gut, from my gut to my mind and just execution, I don't regret any of that. I'm not saying I don't make mistakes. I do make mistakes and, you know, give my fair share of istighfar and tawbah, and there's always more needed. There's never enough istighfar and tawbah, astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayk. That we should always do istighfar and tawbah to correct the mistakes. And you don't intend to do it, right? You just continue to execute and get in your zone. And that's basically the formula that I use on a regular basis. So whenever I'm starting to overthink, I just act to gain some momentum and put in a lot of energy and effort, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, as you should in your goals and dreams and the one thing that you've identified. And hopefully, if you haven't identified it by now, you would take some time after you watch this to go back, to take some time to identify your number one goal in life. Honestly, I didn't even think that's what it would be. This is the number one goal in life, and this is my number one goal in life, and this is everybody's number one goal in life, is their relationships and contributions. Communication, I should say, and contribution. So the RCC. So anyway, relationships, communication, and contribution is the number one goal in life. And I hope that you've identified that. And for me, once I'm able to get into my zone, I'll never regret it, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, within the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with istighfar and tawbah. So the key areas of your zone, I'm just going to tell you right now. Number one, stop overthinking. That's number one. Stop overthinking. And I know it's easier said than done, and you might have to gain some momentum in that, but once you get into you know what your zone is, where you get so much done in so little time. Like, honestly, right now, I'm starting to get way more done than what someone will probably do in a week. Especially yesterday was unbelievable. I was just so in my zone. A lot of the stuff that I thought was impossible was possible, and I was able to execute over 130% of my work yesterday, Saturday. Subhanallah. And I was able to just get in my zone and execute. So stop thinking, start believing, and act from your gut, right? If in your gut, this is telling you it doesn't feel right, that's the feeling, right? If it doesn't feel right within the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, don't do it. Obviously, if it's a commandment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it feels right or not, do it. You have to. It's a requirement. It's a commandment. And, you know, the stuff that you shouldn't be doing, the haram, whether you feel like it or not, you shouldn't do it. It's haram. I'm talking about the halal and anything else in between. And in your gut, if you feel like it's the right thing to do in your gut without using your mind, you should act on it. Just do it. Just do a little bit. Like, just move this, move that. Like movement, just move. And in the beginning, you don't have to have the right movement. But as you keep moving and gaining some momentum and getting in your flow state and zone, you'll start to see that you can actually do, give, and receive so much more. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So that's how you get into your flow state. You don't overthink, you go with your gut, and you take action. Don't overthink, go with your gut and take massive action. Don't overthink, go with your gut and take massive action. One more time. Go with your gut, don't overthink, and take massive action. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. I'm trying to jam-pack these Ridwanullah TV shows and vlogs and other things that are coming up with immense amount of value. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So that's pretty much it with the zone. And obviously you can type progress to that, which is if you have progress, it means that you have momentum and you are in your zone. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. If you don't have progress, it just means that you don't have momentum and you're not in your zone. So if you're looking at your life, and honestly ask yourself, Do you have progress? Are you progressing in your life? Are you building your life? Meaning the 5 areas of your life and things like that. And if it's a yes, it means that you have, as I mentioned, momentum and you're in your zone. If it's a no, then it's that. So ask yourself honestly, do you have progress? Are you progressing in your life? And be honest with yourself. And if it's a yes in general, what about the different areas of your life that you're not progressing in? So progress equals momentum and flow state and getting in your zone. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. I hope that made sense. We're wrapping up in the last 10 minutes of the episode. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So keep in mind what that means for you and what that is for you. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And I hope that you guys can hear me well with this new mic. But it's just amazing. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. To be able to gain momentum, get in my zone, and just find some progress in life, whether it's small or big. Like, you know, the people are most happy when they have progress in their lives. You know, and I've noticed that about myself, about my family members, friends, clients, and so many other individuals. That you know what I mean? Like momentum is key. Progress is key. Getting in your zone is key. And I hope that you've gained a lot of insights and breakthroughs as I have throughout these episodes. I'm going to keep doing these episodes bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, and whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows me you know, a guest to interview and kind of talk about some amazing things that I see that they're doing, then I'll continue to do that bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And if I need to let you know of any announcements and updates, any offers, products and services from the business and or organization, then I'll let you know bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So some just before I wrap up, some key announcements and updates. As I mentioned in the previous episode, I've been struggling to get my content strategy together, whether I should focus on my professional brand and or personal brand, and I've made the decision to focus on both, but I was struggling with how I should post, and I was posting the same thing on my Ridwanullah TV channel is the same thing that I was posting on my Hussein Mohamud, my personal brand channel. One thing I really realized is I can't keep doing that. I really have to break the two and do original content and unique content for my personal my professional channel, and then do content for my personal channel. So what I'm planning on doing bi-idhnillahi ta'ala is the next month I'll continue to post on both channels like I was normally doing, but as the month kind of closes down, what I'll start doing is posting my Ridwanullah TV show and vlogs and other main important contents on the Ridwanullah TV channel, the professional channel, and the professional outlets on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and so forth. I don't think I have Snapchat for my professional channel. I do have Snapchat personally, which I rarely use, but I use Instagram more. And I'm going to be focusing on posting the main contents on my professional channel. And then I'm going to be focused on doing some vlogging and behind-the-scene looks at the work that I'm doing on my personal channel, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So, and then I'm going to be sharing the things on my, I'm going to be sharing the main stuff on my main channels on my personal channel, but I'm not going to be posting on my professional channels. So, and then I'm going to show you the behind the scenes stuff whenever I have time. The challenge was I didn't have the concept and I didn't have the time. So I'm going to have to see how that works. It might feel like double work, but I think there's a unique twist to looking at behind the scenes stuff. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So that's how I'm going to use it. A lot of the main information and main stuff will come on my professional channel, and I'll share it on my personal channel. And then I'll post a lot of my behind the scenes stuff on my personal channels, and then sharing it on my professional channels, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So that's the kind of strategy that I've kind of worked through right now, that I'll be sharing that with you. So it's going to be like a month transition. I'm not just going to cold turkey cut everything off. but I'm going to dabble here and there. So by the end of the month, if you see things are completely separate, that's where it'll be. My subscription level and brand awareness for my professional brand is not really there yet. I've been so focused on my personal brand for a long time, so it's going to be posted on that bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So I'm looking on gaining momentum and getting in my zone and gaining progress through that bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So yeah, I think that's it. Almost. So my challenge to you, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, is to identify the one thing in your life that you want to gain momentum in. That's my challenge to you, as we've already given you space and time to do that. If you didn't, you can go back and probably redo it over and over again. That's a really, really cool thing that I found out from that challenge and experiment, discovery and experiment, is that my number one goal in life, and the number one goal in life, is relationship, communication, and contribution. Communication, relationship, contribution, however you want to organize that. Honestly, I genuinely and wholeheartedly believe that that's it. And as I was creating this content, these contents, relationships and contribution came up over and over again, because it's the core, is the central part of our lives. So that's a unique thing that I've found, and I hope that you find as well. And just kind of push yourself to gain some, to get in your zone and gain momentum and progress, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So that's pretty much it. Jazakumullahu khair. Leave your comments below. Don't forget to leave your comments below, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Jazakumullahu khair for sticking with us through these amazing episodes. I genuinely enjoy them. So at the very least, that's the value. I'm benefiting, and I hope that you are as well. And you could let your family and friends know of this. I would sincerely appreciate it. A lot of people are showing a lot of love. Some people are showing some hate. Hey, it goes with the territory. But it's the hate is more reflection of who they are than what I'm doing. And if I need to course correct because I'm stepping outside of the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then that's not hate. Anyway, share this with your family and friends, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, show your love and support. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the Ridwanullah TV channel. And press the notification bell to join the Ridwanullah family, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. I was kind of stuck in some deep thought there. And if you've liked this video, please press the like button, whichever direction it's in, somewhere right here. Please press the like button. I really appreciate your love and support. And if you know someone who can benefit from getting in their zone and their flow state and gaining some momentum and progress in life, please share this video with them, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And I'd really love your support as well. And obviously the main reason we're doing this is for good deeds, sadaqatul jariyah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So you're going to be getting the good deeds that we're working on. I'm a little bit hesitant, but I'm going to do it anyway, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, because the point that I'm about to say reminds me of my friend Nadim, mashallah. Nadim is what I call him. He's my Bosnian friend. Mashallah. Nadim. Such an amazing brother, mashallah. He's actually the one who got me this mic. And shout out to Abu Zubair as well, mashallah. I don't like to call names, but hal jaza'ul ihsan illa al ihsan, right? You don't reward good except with good. You don't want to expose people's deeds as well that they're doing sincerely, and that's not my intention. But I just wanted to truly appreciate you guys. You guys have been amazing. Support, friends. And I was talking to Nadim, and he's looking at profiting off of me. He's looking to profit off of me, not business-wise, but sadaqah and good deeds-wise. So I'm doing the work by him getting me this mic. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. He's sharing in the deeds, full. He's getting full without anything being reduced from me, as our deen teaches us. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So big shout out to you with your sly angel work that you've been doing behind the scenes. Really, really appreciate you guys. Jazakumullah khair from the bottom of my heart. And that wraps it up for this episode. Jazakumullah khair, Ridwanullah family, for tuning in to another episode of Ridwanullah TV show, your source to completely maximize every single area of your life in this dunya and in the akhirah by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm your host and maximizer, Hussein Mohamud, checking out by saying, never ever give up on completely maximizing every single area of your life in this dunya and in the akhirah by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.